This is a factory where clocks are made, and there are lots of different shapes and colours, aren't there?
There are square ones, round ones, some unusual ones. But they all have a front part called the clock face, and most have 3 hands that show us the time. But do you know what each hand is for?
This short hand here points to the hours, so it's called the hour hand. And this long hand here points to the minutes. It's the minute hand. And then this long, thin hand counts at the seconds. It's called the seconds hand. And as the clock ticks, the seconds hand moves. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear it ticking? As time passes, the hands move around the clock face, pointing to the numbers, so we can tell what time it is.
It's easy to see the red seconds hand moving, but to see the hours and minutes, we have to look for a long time. So I've bought a special camera to help. It can film a time lapse, which means it records for a long time, but when we watch it back, we see the action happening really quickly.
Right, the camera is in place. Let me check what time it is now. The short hand is pointing to number 2, and the long hand is pointing to number 12. So the time is... That's right, it's 2 o'clock. And we're going to leave my camera filming for 1 whole hour. So what do you think's going to happen? Let's find out.
All I can do is wait.
Here we are, 1 hour later, and now it's 3 o'clock. So I've stopped recording, and let's play this back and find out what happened to the hands.
Remember, we're seeing the clock hands move much faster now. The red seconds hand moves the fastest. The long black minute hand moves more slowly. And the short black hour hand moves slowest of all, from 2 to 3.
It's great to see the hands moving fast like that, isn't it? But how do the hands move around the clock face at the right speed? Well, the answer is here, inside this little box. It's called the mechanism. But to find out how the mechanism works, I think we need to take a closer look.
All clocks need power to work. Most clocks are powered by batteries. The battery sends a small electric current through a circuit board. The circuit board makes a tiny crystal called a quartz vibrate. A microchip, which is like a tiny computer, counts the vibrations and turns them into electric pulses of exactly 1 pulse every second. The pulse then powers a tiny motor, which makes wheels called gears turn around and around. There is 1 gear for the seconds hand, a gear for the minute hand, and a gear for the hour hand. The gears are attached to a shaft that goes through the middle of the clock face and spins the hands around the clock at exactly the right speed, so we can look at the hands and see what time it is. Now, shall we have a look inside the mechanism of a real clock?
Wow, the parts inside this mechanism are really, really small. I've got my special camera with me, so we can take a closer look.
The lens on my special camera works like a magnifying glass, so you can see the tiny parts inside.
The microchip is this part here. And then the motor is this bit, the part with a copper wire wrapped around it. And it's the motor that makes the gears go round. Can you see the gears? They have little grooves around the edge. Well, those grooves are called teeth, and those teeth lock together like this, so that when one gear goes round, the other one will turn at the same time. And there is a gear for each of the hands. 1, 2, 3.
Now we know how it works, let's go and see a mechanism being fitted to a face to make a finished clock.
And there we have it, a lovely blue clock. Let's put a battery inside it and see what happens. Wow, it's working. You can see the seconds hand moving around. Tick, tock, tick, tock. So now we can tell what time it is. I loved seeing how clocks work. What was your favourite part?
Do you remember the name of the round wheels that turned the clock hands? That's right, they're called gears. Did you hear the sound the seconds hand made as it went around the clock face? And did you see how the hands moved at different